Hello, welcome to Technobeard Tech Digest for February 16th. So, kicking things off today is Qwen. So, they have dropped version 3.5, and this is their official blog. So, the primary focus this time around is native multimodal agents. So, besides text inputs, it does vision also as part of the same model. So, other proprietary providers have been doing this, of course, but now this is doing all kinds of benchmarking here, but also can do text and vision here. So uh, this is the open model, so you can actually do it locally finally. So that's cool. But the discussion is really always about should you bake the image support, for example, into your weights, or have like a separate path that to the user looks like it's the same model, but internally there's two different models going on. Um, so that's pretty common too. Next up, we've got this wild hardware breakthrough. Researchers have figured out a way to do holographic 3D printing that produces objects in under a single second. So think about this. So it takes like a second, and then a physical object materializes. Because it uses a holographic approach, it forms the entire shape at once rather than building it layer by layer like in a tedious way. So this could completely change the game for rapid prototyping and manufacturing. Those are kind of small, but this is going to be very cool. So yeah, so if you don't know holography, it allows you to create this spatial image, and this directly gets dumped um, into the material. Very cool. See if it actually becomes a reality. That's awesome. This article here talks about security and networking. Um, so it dives into exactly what your Bluetooth devices are broadcasting to the world. So they're discussing a concept known as Bluehood. So Bluetooth privacy, even this year, is still a massive concern. We've seen some of those posts recently where various problems get found in Bluetooth stacks. So last time it was headphones, and I think those Sony headphones still haven't been patched. But anyway, um, so the analysis here breaks down the data that your phone or your watch may be leaking as you walk down the street. So it's a great reminder to check exactly what your wireless radios are transmitting. Well, I wish you could. It's not that simple, but there are some tools here listed, and you can actually run this and see what is being transmitted in your environment. That's pretty awesome. I'm gonna have to try this. Not a hacking tool, yes, because basically you're watching for stuff. Um, how do we actually know if an AI agent is any good at what it claims to do? So this newly published paper introduces SkillsBench. It's a benchmarking framework specifically designed to evaluate how well agent skills actually work when thrown at the diverse tasks. So with everyone building autonomous workflows right now, having a standardized, rigorous way to measure the true capabilities across different environments is absolutely critical for engineering community. So the discussion is mixed. So developers appreciate the effort to standardize agent testing, um, and there's a heavy debate over whether benchmarking can actually capture the open-ended nature of agentic workflows. Yeah, so if you can imagine it, you throw something and there's various number of agents that can get spawned if you have like a fleet or set of agents that are all communicating together. So um, it's unclear also how the solution can be measured. So in SweetBench, you have very specific, pass, no pass, that actually do things. Whereas in the agentic workflows, it's not that clear. A lot of this stuff goes, hey, implement some idea for me and do research. So we'll see where this goes, but this is definitely needed. It's hard to compare agentic systems right now. In networking and platform news, 9 to 5 Google is reporting that Apple has officially started testing end-to-end encryption for RCS on the iPhone. So there's a major catch though. The test currently has zero Android support. So this is a huge cryptographic step toward for Apple and their own ecosystem, but it's leaving Android out of encryption loop for now, and is definitely raising some eyebrows regarding interoperability standards. Of course, discussion is going back into, hey, you going back to iMessage situation. I think it's okay. They got to test on something, but end-to-end encryption is amazing. It's a good stuff. So we'll see how this actually works. How this can be encrypted across multiple platforms to be seen. Let's talk about software architecture. The developer is writing a post here that sparked massive debate. It's arguing that JavaScript-heavy approaches simply are not compatible with long-term performance goals. It's a deep dive into how heavily relying on client-side JavaScript for everything fundamentally impacts longevity and speed. So if you're tired of massive spy applications bogging down your browser performance over time, this analysis is worth your time. But it is very polarized in the discussions. So traditional backend engineers, they agree, of course. I shouldn't say of course, but yes, they agree. And they want server-side rendering, so it's consistent. But the front-end framework advocates are defending, of course, the necessity of JavaScript for complex UI state management. Yeah, state is very, very important. That's foundation of frameworks like Angular and React. That has been there for how many years is this now? I'm gonna be going on 20 soon. Very important, and I've been doing this kind of front-end development for much longer than that. Yes, it is a problem with, especially with this kind of vague client that is going to be connecting to you. You never know. It is complicated, but this is the reality that we're in. And I wrote a post a long time ago about this. This is the client-side operating system that we have developed. For anyone working on software internationalization, 18N, Unicode organization is developing a standard called MessageFormat. It's hosted publicly here on GitHub, and it aims to be a definitive Unicode standard for handling localizable message strings. Localization is notoriously full of edge cases like plurals and gendered syntax and all this. So having a unified standardized format at the Unicode level could make translating massive code bases a whole less painful. So we're not talking about templating language or anything like this. This is beyond this. This is trying to codify how I guess meanings of words are, how to localize them. That is going to be a long process, but exciting nevertheless. So we all love a good minimal code project, and this GitHub user has delivered Picol. It's a functional Tcl interpreter written in just 500 lines of code. Stripping language down to absolute bare minimum is, of course, an interesting exercise in systems programming and architecture. If you want to see how interpreter actually ticks under the hood, it's a 500-line repository. It makes core mechanics super readable. Let's take a quick look. That's the whole thing here. Parse braces, and then interpreter. And that's it. Well, it's a little longer than 500 already, but pretty awesome. database engineers, you gotta listen up again. This is another article that explores fascinating method for testing race conditions in Postgres using synchronization barriers. So harnessing and reliably replicating race conditions in database environment is usually a nightmare, but for forcing these sync barriers here, the offer outlines structured deterministic way to test those incredibly elusive concurrency bugs. So, yeah, and this creates a barrier and then uses it in action. That's pretty cool. Yeah, not unusual. Finally, today, some brilliant structural engineering from a teenager. According to Smithsonian, 14-year-old has folded origami pattern that can hold 10,000 times its own weight. It's using this incredible geometry to design emergency shelters that are not only sturdy but also cost efficient and super easy to deploy in the field. It's an amazing real world application that's blending math, material science, and practical engineering. Yeah, so it folds up like this. There we go. That is holding a lot of its own weight. It's cool to see those articles. See you next time.